branches speak to me of love. The pale moon is casting shadows from above. Poinciana, somehow I feel the jungle beat within me. There grows a rhythmic savage beat, and love is everywhere. The magic perfume fills the air, and to and fro you sway my heart's inside. I've learned to care. Poinciana, blue skies may turn from blue to gray. My love will live forever and a day. Your branches speak to me of love, and the pale moon is casting shadows from above. Poinciana, somehow I feel a jungle beat within me. There grows a rhythmic savage beat, and love is everywhere. The magic perfume fills the air, and to and fro you sway my heart's in time. And I've learned to care. Poinciana, skies may turn from blue to gray. My love will live forever
our Elder Hall concert on this Friday afternoon. Today you'll be hearing from our award winners from the jazz school. So here at the Elder Conservatorium in the jazz course, every year we have awards which we give out for our best undergraduate and our best honours student, and also the instrumentalists from the second year who have achieved the highest standard as well. So most of the students you will hear from today are currently doing their third year study, but we've also got a couple of older students as well. I'll introduce them as we go. Broadly speaking, today's concert we're going to be exploring the cool jazz sound. Now, you might think, well, that's just, people refer to any sort of jazz that's, enjoyable as cool, and maybe it sort of sounds like a bit of a silly name, but it really does specifically refer to a certain style and time period. Just to really quickly give you the context, jazz starts off in New Orleans in the earlier 1900s, and that's the music of Louis Armstrong, Jelly Roll Morton, Sidney Bechet, and that music is very vivacious, very fun, very lively. And then the next major era is the swing era, music for dancers, that's Benny Goodman and obviously Count Basie and people like that. The reaction that goes against that is a movement called bebop, which is Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie, and that's where the musicians start trying to challenge themselves and each other, and they are playing faster tempos and things are very technical and very fiery, a bit off-putting to the public. Jazz becomes a little less sort of, a little less accessible. And then we hit what we think of as the cool school, which is sort of what we're talking about today. So it's a style which, as you might expect from the name, is a bit more mellow, and it's maybe a little bit more impressionistic. It's often a style compared to the previous styles, which are usually centered around the city of New York. This is often a style associated with the other coast, with LA. Sort of imagine, beaches and young Hollywood, and a lot of these musicians are based in LA. It's got that sort of breezy sort of vibe. That's just if you want a sort of a ballpark way of looking at it. So what we just heard then was a tune called Poinciana, and the group performed it with a nod to the Ahmad Jamal arrangement. There's a very iconic recording for us jazz performers. Ahmad Jamal was a piano player who very much influenced Miles Davis's early career. We're going to talk a bit more about Miles in a second, but that particular bright and breezy, very effortless sort of mood that was created by Ahmad Jamal was very, very influential. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to our performers as we go through, but in the next bracket we're going to have two tunes. We're going to start with probably the most famous, one of the most famous jazz tunes of all time, Take 5, made popular by the Dave Brubeck Quartet, actually written by the sax player of the group, Paul Desmond. This was actually a hit for jazz, like got outside of the jazz realm and actually was bought by normal people. And one of the other elements of the cool jazz idiom is sort of an exploration of looking outside of the jazz realm into the classical realm. So one of the ways that gets woven into what the Dave Brubeck group did was to look at these odd time signatures. So Take 5 is in 5/4. That means there's 5 beats to the bar. And it's sort of something that hadn't really been explored to this point. Other cool jazz groups employed things like the cello and the oboe, different instrumentation, sort of weaving in elements from the classical realm into jazz. But this is a bit of an example of that. The piece after that is a slightly different piece from what's in the program. We're going to actually perform a Miles Davis piece called Milestones. This is just to demonstrate that even though we're talking about cool jazz, we're talking about tone and approach. And we're going to play this tune, and you'll notice it's quite a brisk tempo. It is, just because we're talking about cool jazz doesn't mean that that everything is sort of slow and maudlin and brooding. So you'll hear this brisk tune, Milestones, second, from Miles Davis. But here we go first with Take 5, and we're going to hear from Tyler Leong on the alto sax and Louis Dimitropoulos on the drums. Thanks. So I think you can see within the philosophy of the cool players, there was a variety of different ways of taking it. It's usually just with jazz, as with so many art forms, the styles just tend to overlap with each other. And once someone has a good idea, certainly it's pretty easy to see at this point in time in America, there was this big difference between the West Coast and the East Coast. And so some of the West Coast sound and the ideas traveled across and mingled what was going on in New York, and that's where we get sort of the sort of late 50s sort of sound. So we're going to now feature some of our rhythm section players with their tributes or their sort of responses to some of the classic cool players of that era, but some of the guys who took the sound from the West Coast and sort of integrated it into what they were doing. So we're going to hear first from Ben Finnis on the guitar, who is our honours undergraduate. Sorry, our honours. I'm gonna do that better this time. Sorry, Ben. Ben is our honours award winner. Ben. And our top undergraduate for last year is on the drums. That's Miles Farnan right there. And on the bass, Jaden Dawson. Where's the bass all band? So they're going to perform a tune by guitarist Kenny Burrell called Midnight Blue. And then we're going to have a different rhythm section setup. We're going to have Darcy Bills, who is our piano award winner, and she will be performing On Green Dolphin Street with a bit of a nod to the piano player Bill Evans. And Bill Evans is a very important piano player in the career of Miles Davis, but certainly just in his own right, and really did introduce a lot of the cool sounds into jazz as we know it. So I will hand over to Ben, and here's Midnight Blue. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are going to finish off this program with two pieces. We sort of wanted to finish off the concert with a bit of bring us back into the sort of the modern era, I guess. Jazz has a tendency to bring with it each of its previous styles. So when we play jazz in the modern world, we kind of have a bit of everything going on. And so the performers on stage have selected a piece from an album which was just released last year, which we think fits the sort of moody, impressionistic sort of vibe that we've got going on. We're also going to take some inspiration from one of the projects that Miles Davis did in that period of the late 50s, where he performed some music along with a film score to create a film score. And I believe they are going to do that right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to our vocal award winner, Grace Mensforth. Grace Mensforth, everybody. And she's going to tell you all about that.
Hi everyone. So this piece takes inspiration from the soundtrack to 1957 French film Ascenseur pour l'échafaud, which explores modal ambient improvisations from Miles Davis, who was a pioneer in the era of cool jazz. These sounds will be accompanied by a poem written by a poet called Hilary Thomas, who features on Alpha Mist's 2021 contemporary jazz album Bringbacks. The poem explores disconcerting realities of leaving one's homeland and building a community in a new country, a reality that was the backbone of the jazz music that we know today. The poem follows a character's journey away from their home country, reminiscing on things she remembers from her homeland and sharing the struggles that her new life has brought. The poem speaks not only for the struggles of immigrants that have come before, but also those faced by immigrants of today. We hope you enjoy. Back home, belly full, skin kissed from sun-drenched red earth. The land of her birth gave her tools to navigate the world. From Africa to Europe via Caribbean she came. She came to the land where cool breeze meant freeze, and soup and curry carried aromas to open door no more. Fed me tales of mango scent and yam root, kept my cup full of tea while hers half, plenty empty. From basket on head to paper bags and plastic wrapped bread, she worked and she heard from the names that she heard. But Friday was payday and glory comes Sunday.
Doji
Thank you so much. One more time for these performers. Darcy Bills on the piano. Grace Mensforth on vocals. Tyler Leong on saxophone. Ben Finnis on the guitar. Jaden Dawson on the bass. Lewis Dimitropoulos on drums. And Miles Varnon on the drums. Thank you all very much for coming out this afternoon. We've had a lovely time, and yeah, please come back for some more Elder Hall concerts in the coming weeks. Okay, thanks.